Yo, welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet Violet VGC video. I'm your host, Jose Rocks, and today we have another episode of Journey Through VGC. The current format we are in is Regulation F. Y'all ready? Let's get into it. Alright, welcome back, you guys. We are back with a banger, and I think I have my strongest team thus far. So this is going to be a team built around Walking Wake, and it's built in a way that's unorthodox that actually makes this Pokemon a lot better than what it usually traditionally looks to be on the ladder in the tournaments. And because people kind of like one track to building this around like a Sun and this like a Tailwind type team, right? But you don't necessarily just have to be Sun and Tailwind only. And that's kind of what this team does really well by being like a pseudo Sun Tailwind team / hard Trick Room team on the other end, right? And by hard Trick Room, I mean like the main option of this team actually is going to be like sweeping with your Torkoal plus Walking Wake on the Trick Room. And that's kind of the idea behind this team, but you can play on Tailwind if need be. And so let's get into some of these sets. Starting with the Walking Wake. A lot of people are getting really used to when they do see Walking Wake, even though it's not that common anymore like it was when the format first came out. They're used to going for the Water Tera on Walking Wake to get more damage with Hydro Steam, and they're like going for like Thunderclaps and Grass type attacks and stuff like that into you because they know that you're gonna Tera into water, right? So the Fire Tera gives, switches it up just a little bit and allows you to have some different resistances that you usually wouldn't have. Allows you to resist that fairy damage, resist that grass damage, and that's very valuable into a Pokemon like Walking Wake. The Fire Tera also gives you a boost on to Flamethrower. So when you go for Fire Tera, now that you're getting stabbed on Flamethrower in the sun next to Torkoal or Whimsicott, it's very, very threatening with the Life Orb. So that's the idea behind this Walking Wake set. And then of course we have the Draco Meteor, which is also going to be a nuke in the sun, in case you really just need to pick up that one-hit KO on something that's not already chipped that you can finish off with like Hydro Steam and Flamethrower. And the fun thing about Walking Wake is that while it is good in the sun, rain does not stop it from sweeping. Rain, even though it weakens your Flamethrower, rain still boosts the damage of Hydro Steam, which makes you be able to play in both weathers, right? Which is really good. Next we have Whimsicott. This Whimsicott is going to be a pretty standard set from what you would see like in Sword and Shield. The only difference is that we didn't really need the fairy coverage since we have Flutter on our team. So we decided to go with Energy Ball. So Energy Ball is going to help you hit those bulky water types that can kind of get around like Walking Wake's Hydro Steam and Flamethrower, and you really don't want to drop your special attack with Draco Meteor, and Torkoal's not able to really pick up big one-hit KOs on bulky water types. So the Energy Ball does help you chip things to get them in range of being able to pick them up with like other Pokemon that you have in the back. Encore which is really threatening into a lot of Pokemon. Walking Wake plus Whimsicott is a lead that makes you really want to protect in front of it because it threatens so much damage turn 1. And if you do protect in front of it, then you also get Encore and you can't move for the rest of the game. It's really good against like Dondozo teams and just being able to threaten a lot of bad plays by your opponent because they're trying to play around the Encore, and sometimes you're not even planning on clicking Encore and they make like a bad switch just to get around the Encore since they know they protected the other turn. And that's kind of like the mind games with Whimsicott, and in my opinion, if you see a Whimsicott, you should definitely expect it to have Encore, and a lot of players are playing like that against this team where they're expecting it to have Encore. Sunny Days to help boost Walking Wake, Flutter Mane, and Torkoal's damage output in case like it gets reset by another weather. And of course, just putting up the weather initially is very valuable. And then of course, Tailwind. Ghost Tera, so that you can play around getting faked out turn 1. You don't have a way to stop Walking Away from getting faked out, but just in the event that you really need to Encore something and they want to fake you out, you have that Ghost Tera in your back pocket so that you can get around that fake out, or even for that one turn that you really need to just get a move off or get a Tailwind up or a Sunny Day, and you don't want to be faked out. And sometimes that one turn of Ghost Tera just to get that off is enough to help you win the game. So next we have Farigiraf. This Farigiraf set is going to be pretty standard from what you see in a lot of different other formats, except for it has Nasty Plot with Citrus Berry instead of like Throat Spray or Life Orb. And the idea behind this is that Nasty Plot next to Side Shot picks up the one-hit KO on most Flutter Mane that are not bulky, right? Because Side Shot hits the physical side of the spectrum, and most Flutter Mane are really good on the special defense side of the spectrum. Hyper Voice also does really good damage as a spread type move, and that plus Nasty Plot, because a lot of teams like to play passive around Farigiraf, so they don't give you a free switch in, threatens a lot of damage. And with the Sitrus Barrier, you're able to get a lot of different Nasty Plots off and then just go for really good damage. And when you get Farigiraf next to Torkoal, like Eruption plus +2 Hyper Voice, it's like literally impossible for anything to switch into that except like a Heatran. But your team has a lot of other counters to deal with Heatran that makes Heatran not feel comfortable in this matchup, whether it be a very powerful Shadow Ball from Flutter Mane, Earth Power from Torkoal, or Hydro Steam from Walking Wake. And once they Tera into like Fairy or Grass, then Hyper Voice is just doing too much damage to them, right? And they usually have to Tera because Torkoal is threatening with Earth Power. And so next we have Flutter Mane. So this Flutter Mane is going to be a max speed, max special attack, but not timid. It is modest. And the reason that it is modest because we have Tailwind to, you know, help with the outspeeding the things that, like maybe like a Chimpow or something that naturally outspeeds Flutter Mane, or like Arm Bundle. So you have that Tailwind to help you outspeed it. But the reason we want to go modest is because we want the most damage out of our Moonblast and our Dazzling Gleams and Shadow Balls, plus the added effect that with you being modest under Trick Room, you underspeed like a lot of the other mons that are around that base speed, like Chimpow, Arm Bundle again, opposing Flutter Mane if they're max speed. A lot of them are starting to run max speed again. So now you're able to underspeed them under Trick Room, and then you're able to move before them. And I kind of went modest just because I wanted the damage output, plus the added effect of just being a little bit slower than other Flutter Manes, so that when we do catch them under Trick Room, we're able to outspeed them, right? Which is very valuable. And this Flutter Mane is literally a nuke. If you get this Flutter Mane and it outspeeds your opponent, like it's times that your opponent doesn't have speed control, or they still don't have anything that's faster than Flutter Mane at modest max speed, then just getting Sunny Day up or just having Torkoal in the back and switching it in and just getting a single target Moonblast is able to like pick up so many one-hit KOs, as you'll see in this video. It's just such a very powerful nuke on this team. So that's one of the other nukes that you have on this team, and it's very powerful. Icy Wind just to give you a little bit different form of speed control, and also really good into like Lander's Eye, which is pretty common in the format right now. And Lander's Eye loves to come against this team because it does well into Iron Hands and Torkoal if it can outspeed them, right? And Whimsicott can't really deal with it quickly enough. Next we have Iron Hands, pretty standard Iron Hands set with Drain Punch, Wild Charge, Heavy Slam. The only difference is instead of like a Grass Tera, we're going back to the Water Tera or like a Fire Tera, right? So Water Tera is really good on Iron Hands to help you play under like Trick Room matchups, reduce the damage from Urshifu, and a lot of things that like to hit Iron Hands for super effective damage. Water makes it neutral, and hitting Iron Hands for neutral allows it to do kind of what it wants to do. And the only downside to that is that you become weak to Rage and Bolt, but your natural typing is so good into Rage and Bolt that they might never really be clicking an electric move into you. And just that one turn, if they're not doing that, is going to allow Iron Hands to set up his teammates or do what Iron Hands needs to do. And last but not least, we have the star of the team, and that's going to be Torkoal. So this Torkoal is going to be a different set than what you typically would see, and the only difference is the Tera type. So you usually used to Eruption, Heat Wave, Earth Power, Charcoal, Torkoal being Sweeper, but now you have Terrestrialization to Tera Torkoal, and now we're going to Terrestrialize it into Stellar. So the reason that Stellar is good on Torkoal is because Torkoal is usually going to Tera into Fire anyway, right? And if you're going to Tera into your same typing anyway, why not have Stellar Tera so that you can get a boost on your Earth Power as well? So now Earth Power is hitting with Stab. So now Torkoal's playing like a pseudo ground type without having the weakness of ground type or being 4 times weak to water, or like getting a neutral hit to grass type attacks, right? And that's what makes Stellar really cool. Stellar is, I feel like, it's the best on Pokemon that have a single typing that want to terrestrialize into their typing already. Like if you have like a Grass Tera Rillaboom, or like I said, for instance, Torkoal, which is already a Fire type, right? Now you're just getting extra Stab on your Earth Power. And Stab Earth Power does a lot more damage with the Stab boost than you expect from Torkoal, and it is able to pick up a lot of KOs on things that typically expect to survive, like just a regular non-stab Earth Power for Torkoal. And you know, Stellar Tera Earth Eruption is just very fun to use. The Stellar Tera looks very cool on Torkoal. It's like aesthetically, it's very pleasing, and just going for those eruptions is just very fun. So this is going to be my strongest team I made so far, in my opinion. The Trick Room option really allows you to really deal with a lot of teams that are really fast-paced in this meta, and teams that don't really have an answer into Tailwind plus Encore from Whimsicott, they just kind of fall to this team. But that's going to be it for a team breakdown. We are on the road to 500 subscribers, so if you like this type of team, go ahead and leave a like for me and a subscription, because we're trying to get up to that 500. And there's a rental code up at the top right, as well as a Pokebase down in the description below. And let's get into these battles. Alright, so we have Tornadus, Landorus, Archaludon, Fluttermane, Iron Crown, and Indeedee. So usually there's a Chi-Yu or an Urshifu here over the Archaludon. My opponent's team kind of falls to Torkoal, but I would assume that he has Rain Dance. Kind of want to go with this mode though, because I mean Rain Dance just benefits Walking Wake too. I don't want to bring Iron Hands. It's actually really bad here. Yeah, I don't want to bring Iron Hands actually. I'm gonna leave Flutter, Farigiraf, Torkoal, Walking Wake. That way he has to remove Flutter because Flutter's pressure and damage. I just want to Moonblast Indeedee. I don't even lose Flutter here. Okay, I was okay with losing Flutter there if I got a free switch in a Torkoal, honestly. I was actually okay with losing Flutter completely. I guess he expected me to go for a defensive Tera to get around the Tycon Cutter, but I mean, we didn't even attempt to go for it. Alright, so Indeedee's gone. We lose Flutter, but now we get a free switch in a Torkoal. And I'm just gonna Tera Torkoal, go for Eruption, and Side Shot the Iron Crown. It should Tera into water here. Water's fine. If it's Tornadus, that's not good. It is Tornadus, okay. I don't think I need the Tera here. I don't see what else I'm tearing, so I might as well just Tera Interruption. He's gonna go for Rain Dance and it's fine. Alright, so we Tera Stellar. I mean Tera Stellar Torkoal. Alright, so it should be water here. I think a nasty plot is going to be big next turn, next to, he kindly set the rain up for us, which he's going to do, yep. It's fine, because now I'm going to terrestrialize my Walking Wake, and then I should be able to sweep the rest of his team. I just want to get Chip here. Alright, so that's good damage still. I'm hoping that he just went for a water move into Torkoal to try to remove it. Spinning Force. Okay, perfect. Alright, so we should have 2 turns of Trick Room left. I think Hydro Steam plus Hyper Voice should be able to take it out. He didn't protect either. Nice, yeah. So we didn't need to click Draco Meteor there. And we still have 1 more turn of Trick Room left, so if he can't protect in the back, we're still in a good spot. And that's the good thing about Walking Wake. It can work in the sun and the rain. Of course, it prefers the sun because of the photosynthesis boost. But in the rain, your water attack is still boosted. And that's one of the unique things about this Pokemon. That it's going to make it really good in a restricted format, like playing alongside Groudon and Kyogre or Koraidon. Alright, so we pretty much win. He already uses Tera. Hyper Voice does more. And Hydro Steam. He just forfeits because he can protect there, but he's not one-shotting. He's not gonna one-shot Walking Wake, and then we just KO him the next turn. Yep. So the Stellar Tera on Torkoal might look silly there, but it was ideal for getting his Pokemon in range to be KO'd by Farigiraf next turn, right? And that was kind of the idea of it. We always knew once he brought Tornadus in there that he was gonna click Rain Dance. And the good thing about having Walking Wake in the rain is that you can take advantage of rain and sun. So even though you don't get the photosynthesis boost, like I said, you're still getting a 50% boost on your water type attacks, which is, even though we didn't get to showcase it there because Iron Crown was such low health, it still would have picked up the KO even if it was at about 40%, just because how strong Walking Wake is with Life Orb. But let's get into the next one. We get our ribbon with this team. Let's get to the next one. Alright, so here we have a Azumarill, Ursaluna, Porygon 2, Metagross, Talonflame. I haven't seen Talonflame in Azumarill in a long time, since like Regulation C. That's when they were kind of popular. As soon as Regulation D came back with Tornadus, Talonflame was pretty irrelevant after that point. It used to be in competition with like Murkrow. But there's also Moltres. So I know he wants to do Trick Room shenanigans. I have Torkoal though. So I kind of want to play Walking Wake plus Whimsicott. Torkoal in case he sets up Trick Room. And Flutter. I would like to bring Iron Hands. Iron Hands is actually really good here. I didn't have enough time. Iron Hands beats his whole team, actually. I should have brought it. But we're going to play with Walking Weight, since this is a Walking Weight team. I think I could have dropped Whimsicott because it doesn't do much. I guess an Energy Ball is really good in there, Zimro, but I don't even think you bring a Zimro to this match against Sun. So it's Ursaluna Porygon too. I'm just gonna Sunny Day plus Hydro Sting, Porygon 2. Just get big damage, force it to want to recover. It's gonna try to set up Trick Room. I'm gonna Encore him. I expect Ursaluna to protect here. I'd be very surprised if it didn't. He's gonna go for a Tera, so he might not be protecting it. Ghost Tera, okay. If you go for a Calm Mind or something like that, then I'm just gonna Encore you. Alright, so we're not Water Tera, but let's see how much this does. Yeah, right, decent amount. What's his blood, man? Alright, almost a KO. Oh, he didn't even go to stop Trick Room. I mean, he didn't even try to set up Trick Room. Took a lot of damage turn one. I wonder, does he have Vacuum Wave? Even if he Vacuum Waves Whimsicott is fine. Oh, he doesn't. Oh, he survives. I mean, setting up Trick Room won't be too bad because we just get Torkoal. Oh, that's a one-hit KO. So if you want to set up Trick Room here, go ahead. By all means. Wow, that's crazy powerful. That Draco Meteor just one-shot in the Ursaluna like that. So we are -2. Metagross. He does get access to Bullet Punch. I think he's gonna Bullet Punch Walking Wake, actually. I'm gonna Encore Porygon so he can't do anything else switching to Torkoal. It's unfortunate Porygon's able to get back to full health. That doesn't do too much damage. Importantly enough, we haven't used our Tera, so I can Tera Torkoal here and do big damage. I'm gonna Encore you in a Bullet Punch if you can't hit Torkoal with anything else. Tera Eruption. Because I know he wants to target Torkoal with like a ground type move. And if you switch Metagross here, you just take a powerful Eruption next turn. So this is kind of weird using Torkoal outside of Trick Room, but I expected him to try to set. Oh yeah, he just switches. So something's taking an Eruption. Oh, it's a Zoom roll. Okay. It's pretty smart by my opponent, but Porygon's gonna take a lot of damage here. Woo! That did so much damage. I kind of just want to click Eruption again. Yeah. I knew that was coming. I could have conserved my Whimsicott. Actually, I probably should have. Because this is a double KO here, though. Metagross can only target one slot. Unless he has Earthquake. But he can't Tera, right? So he either takes a full powered Eruption or he takes a Shadow Ball. Alright, Sunlight faded. This Torkoal, this Stellar Tera Torkoal is so powerful. Alright, so my opponent has to make decisions here. Earthquake's not gonna one-hit KO either. I'm gonna Shadow Ball here and Eruption. He has to target one. Oh, he didn't even go for Bullet Punch. He's going for Earthquake. Yep. If Torkoal survives, Zen Headbutt? Yeah, that's definitely not the play. Alright, nice. Stellar Tera Torkoal. Oh man, it does so much damage. It did over 50% to a Azumarill, which is a bulky mon and resistance. And it has resistance. Porygon's also bulky. It did 90% to that while I was chipped. If I was full HP, it would just picked up a 1-hit KO on Porygon, which is crazy because Porygon is one of the most bulky Pokemon in the game. We played that pretty well. Yeah, it was unfortunate that we chipped Porygon and it got healed all the way back up with Recover, but making Porygon relatively useless and it only click Recover after Encore and it actually like benefited us because it wasn't able to do anything else like go for any Ice Beams or set up Trick Room or like do anything that's gonna, you know, favor my opponent. But that was fun. Let's get into the next one. Alright, we have another Metagross here with Chien-Pao and Entei and Dragonite. Something I've been looking into that when I'm going to make my Metagross team is definitely going to have a Chien-Pao on it. This team kind of falls to Trick Room as well. Trick Room plus Farigiraf looks very threatening. Iron Hands looks very threatening to my opponent's team. I know I want Torkoal. As long as I conserve the Farigiraf pretty well, then Torkoal can really clean through my opponent's team. And if he tries to bring Entei, then we're going to go ahead and use Walking Wake. So we're going to leave Flutter Mane here. Flutter Mane is immune to the extreme speed. Like, Flutter Mane looks good here, actually. But I'm going to go with Walking Wake because I don't know their speed tiers. And even though my Flutter Mane's not max speed, it's modest. they might be doing his Metagross might underspeed me, the Dragonite might underspeed me, Entei might underspeed me, right? My Flutter Rain is modest. It doesn't have that much speed in this one, though. Right, Entei Metagross. What a Tera and Trick Room. Take out Metagross. And the reason I'm going for this play so Farigiraf doesn't take too much damage turn 1, because I don't know what Metagross is going for. I just want to fake it out. I think Entei may just Sacred Fire burn my Iron Hands. Yeah. But I didn't need the Tera there. Yeah. Okay. So we just need to chip Entei. So I'm gonna nasty plot here. Wild charge. Pretty sure Metagross is Tera Water. So he has Protect. So he's not Assault Vest on that set. That was a turn for me to get Torkoal in for free. I'm gonna try to get Torkoal in here because I think he's gonna target down the Farigiraf. Yeah, I had no idea that his Entei would be Protect though. Yeah, the burn is unfortunate on Iron Hands because it's like damage is reduced, and that's kind of why like you don't really see Iron Hands right now. Ooh, that's so much damage. So he's Sitrus. Is it a double up into that slot? Metagross damage output is actually impressive. That shouldn't KO this stuff. Nice. So Metagross has to Tera here if he doesn't. But if he Teras, then he takes mad damage from Hyper Voice. So we're still in a good spot here, and we have 2 more turns of Trick Room left. He really is focused on Farigiraf though. Alright, so Metagross Tera is here, but now he takes neutral damage from Hyper Voice. Yep, and they're usually always Tera Water. I don't know if Hyper Voice picks up from there. was so close. Okay. So he needs to switch here or else it's a double KO. I'm just gonna go for Eruption because I don't want to miss anything. I'm kind of hoping that he didn't bring Flutter because it's kind of good into what I have in the back. Oh, so he's switching. The only thing I can switch in here is Flutter. Oh, it's Ogerpon though. That's gonna get KO'd. And he went for the double. Okay, that's correct because you might as well try to conserve it. But you just lose your Ogerpon here. I think. I mean, Hyper Voice +2 should take care of that. Nice. And Metagross is so low. And that's good because I don't think it's Flutter. I think it's Chin Powers the last. Ogerpon was actually one of the worst ones he could have brought to this match. And he conserved the 1 HP Metagross. Yep, and I can just fake out Metagross always and get a free KO. So I'm gonna protect Torkoal and just click Hyper Voice here. Actually, I'll click Trick Room. If I get it up, I actually just win, right? If he doubles into the Torkoal for some reason. Yeah, that's correct. But the thing is, Metagross is Assault Vest, and I know for a fact it has to be Assault Vest the way it survived. Because Metagross special defense is not that good. And he's been switching his moves, right? And so Zen Headbutt plus Thumping Tantrum. I know you have Bullet Punch plus like Meteor Mash or something like that. So 4 moves, you're definitely Assault Vest. So Fake Out should always KO him. And then at this point, we just need to break Chin Power's Sash. I'm going to just go for Earth Power. Fake Out to KO that slot. Earth Power this slot. I would be surprised if Metagross has Protect here. Yeah, perfect. And now he's not Steel type, so it's even though I'm burnt, it's a neutral hit plus Chin Powers on the field, giving a little bit of boost. Oh, we didn't even. Wow, you Ice Spinner the Iron Hands. Yeah, that's gonna be just game. I mean, you should always go after Iron Hands here because they just kill you with a Drain Punch. I'm actually gonna just hit Heat Wave because if I hit Heat Wave, I slip. Well. No, the correct play is to Earth Power, because 2 Earth Powers would KO, and he can't target 2 Pokemon at the same time. And he can't one-hit KO my, I don't think, unless he crits, he can't one-hit KO Walking Wake. And Flamethrower always just KOs you. So he does do away with my Iron Hands. Walking Wake should wrap this up. You should always go after Walking Wake because I mean I'm just starting with a Flamethrower. And you hope that you one-hit KO Walking Wake and you survive Earth Power and then crit Torkoal too. That's his win con. So he's playing for a crit here. He doesn't get it. Nice. And then we just KO it. Nice, and we played that well. Torkoal is so good right now, man. Like even things that resisted, like it's still just doing so much damage. Like, and this team, like once you get Trick Room up, like your opponent really has to play defensive, and there's not a lot of things that can switch into like Farigiraf once it goes for +2, Hyper Voice, and the things that resist Hyper Voice are what Ghost types, Steel types. Torkoal just removes those, right? Because being hit by Torkoal super effectively or neutrally is just never good for you when you're in the Trick Room because that means the next turn you're just gonna get KO'd by another eruption or heat wave combo. All right, and let's get into the next one. All right, we have our final match of the day, and we have an opposing Walking Wake to wrap this game up, plus Torkoal and Farigiraf. This is a very similar team, but we have the speed advantage and we have Flutter. I kind of think I want to leave Torkoal Flutter main, switching to Farigiraf instead of Farigiraf and switching out into Torkoal, right? Because this way they can waste a turn if they go for like priority. And of course I want to bring my Walking Wake too. I think Iron Hands, because of the Intimidate's kind of annoying for it. We'll just leave it here. And I think Incineroar definitely comes here. But my Flutter main, like, he can't stop it, and I outspeed everything on his team. So, like, switching into Farigiraf to stop any priority and just going for, like, a really powerful Choice Specs, Dazzling Gleam, or Moonblast. Yeah, it's really good for us. Actually, I'm just gonna remove. He honestly shouldn't want to set up Trick Room here for my Torkoal. So I'm gonna Tera Moonblast into Incineroar, because he should go for Flare Blitz here and then switch into Farigiraf. And that removes Instant immediately. And Farigiraf shouldn't be able to KO anything. Most it can do is go for a Trick Room, but like I said, I have Torkoal too. And my Torkoal is min speed, so if you're not min speed, then we just underspeed you. But this should be able to pick up Incineroar, barring it being like Assault Vest. He may just want to go for a fake out in the Torkoal, honestly. So he correctly didn't go for fake out, so props to my opponent. But we do one hit KO in Incineroar, perfect. And what is Farigiraf going for here? Just Dazzling. Yeah, that's not too much. So we take out your Incineroar, and all we take is, you know, 20% on both of our mons. That's not bad. So I'm gonna Moonblast you. Even if you Tera, you're gonna just Tera into something that a nasty plot here. You can Tera, but I think they're mostly like grass and water. I doubt you're still Tera here, right? Because then you don't lose your ground weakness. Oh, he's electric. Okay. So it looks like he may be going for the one hit KO back onto my Flutter. Oh, my Helping Hand would be crazy here, but this is still going to be a lot of damage. Oh, we just one hit KO Raging Bolt, one of the bulkiest Pokemon in the game. This Flutter mate is so strong. What? Oh yeah, and we're faster than their Farigiraf. Oh wow. Nice, but I'm just going to swap in my Raging Bolt here and reverse Trick Room. Or do I really? I don't actually have to take that damage. I can bring my Torkoal in here. and just hyper voice. Once, actually I should have just reverse trick room. But once my walking weight comes in and he just he earthquake draw on Torkoal. Oh, your weakness policy. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, so it's a 2v2. That was very cool. Actually, I shouldn't have sacked my Torkoal there like that. Alright, so we just need to KO Torkoal here. And I think we should be able to win from that point. And I'll just click Dazzle in here. That's cool that his Torkoal even underspeeds his Farigiraf. I mean, outspeeds Farigiraf. Ah, that was a critical hit. The critical hit's unfortunate. How many turns the trick on my left? 2. I think we need a double protect here. Ah, yeah, the crit made it so we can't take another gleam, right? Wow, this game went so well. I shouldn't have. I guess letting him get trick room up was really bad. But I didn't expect. Let's go for a double protect here. We don't get it. I didn't expect Torkoal to have be weakness policy. Nice, well played by my opponent to bring that game back. Wow, but hey, that was crazy though that Flutter main was able to do that much damage. Yeah, we should have won that game from there, but we removed the walking raging bolt, but the trick room was just too powerful there. I think that if I just sack my Flutter main and bring in my Torkoal, then we probably would have been in a better spot, right? Because his Torkoal wasn't min speed, so I would have been the slowest Torkoal. I think I shouldn't have sacked it there. And that's where we messed up at. Alright, but that's going to be it for these battles, and let's get into a mid-range review. Alright, getting into a mid-range review with this team. This team was so fun. So far, it's a 10 out of 10 for me. I absolutely love this team. We were able to win a lot of games that may have felt kind of shaky, but I always felt like I was at an advantage, or that I was able to, somewhat, deal with these strategies that my opponent was going to use. Its walking wake does so much damage, and I really do like the set. I really do think that fire is going to be a little bit better than the water Tera, because a lot of people kind of know that you want to go into your water Tera right now, and they're covering for it, and it kind of makes you a little bit worse into a raging bolt when you turn into that water that you just get hit with a thunderclap, right? And that's never good to just get one shot by that. So even though we have Farigiraf on our team, like just being able to naturally survive that without having to and being able to Tera and not be one shot by that is, very valuable. The Whimsicott, we didn't get to showcase the energy ball in one of the games that we could have went for it against the SUNROOM, because we got hit with the Aqua Jet. But other than that, energy ball, I think it's going to be very good against those bulky water types that kind of want to sit in front of your team, and you didn't bring Iron Hands to your match, right? You wanted to be able to deal with those water types. Hitting that with energy ball is doing good damage. The Flutter main, as you saw in that last match, was crazy. I didn't even think that it would do that much, right? And this is a modest choice specs Flutter main max special attack, and we're just able to just one hit KO so many things. I do think that I would have won that game if I just sacked my Flutter. I did not expect him to set up Trick Room and have Torkoal in the back, but I should have counted for that because that match went so well. But that just shows you, even when you just, sweeping your opponent, Just them getting into the right position can allow them to win the game, right? And he never, lost faith in his strategy that he has in the back, and he just held true to it and is able to win the game. But I do think that if I had sacked my Farigiraf plus my Flutter against the Torkoal, brought my Torkoal out, mine's definitely undersped his, because under no circumstances is Farigiraf supposed to underspeed Torkoal. So that means his Torkoal had a lot of speed investment in order to make that strategy work on the Trick Room, right? So that means my Torkoal would have been able to get off an eruption first, weakening the Farigiraf and severely weakening his Torkoal, reducing the amount of damage that it can do to Walking Wake. And Walking Wake should have just been able to clean that game up from that point, as long as I protect that turn, right? So, yep, so that's going to be it for this team. If you guys like it, there's a rental code up at the top right, as well as a Pokepaste down in the description below. And let me know with a comment below what you guys think about Walking Wake. It didn't show up too much at the most recent regional that just passed in Portland, but I do think that is strong. Of course, I think that Raging Bolt is a little bit better, and Gouging Fire is better as a support option. But Walking Wake is very powerful on the right team and in the right circumstances. You're really able to sweep teams, and I think that not just being able to play it on Tailwind and just reducing it to like a Tailwind sweeper, and actually being able to use that in the Trick Room can be very valuable when you like have like a middling speed like how it has, and you're not invested into your speed like that. So, like I said, let me know in a comment what you guys think about Walking Wake, and I will catch you guys in the next one. All right, deuces.